This is Mario once again with MIA Microflight, another day. We are July 10, 2025, and you can see here that I'm working on my wing here. I have introduced some really neat parts for assembling my wings here. Slightly different than the way that I do the smaller scale ones, because this is a half scale. As I said in my other videos, there are things that I'm doing a little bit different because of the particular size, and it just has to be reinforced. With a little more little more emphasis on the smaller ones. As you get smaller in scale, you don't need a lot of structure. You don't need a lot of rigidity in some of the connections, but because this is this is a half scale, it's quite a big model. You can see how much room this is taking. Again, as if this is not obvious from this video here, but you can see the wing here. I have the leading edge already, the rod, and the other rod is sitting, the trailing edge is sitting at the bottom there for this wing. This is actually the second panel. There are two panels left and right, obviously, because that makes up the full wing. It's quite a large model, and you can see already the forming of the airfoil right there. I've been inserting the ribs. I still have to do 4 more here, but I have introduced some new parts, some 3D printed parts, to and some new tricks to make this wing a lot easier to assemble, and much better in terms of connectivity, for this particular size. Once again, I keep emphasizing the word size here, because again, this is a half scale, and just things need to be done a little more stringent, with respect to that scale reference. The other thing that I am very keen on, as I have been keen with the models, the kits that I've been manufacturing, since I embarked on this on these products, the Quicksilver, the ultralights, the microlights, is that I don't employ kink posts, and I don't employ cables, just to remove some of the complexity involved in doing that kind of assembly. Because when you do a cable wing, you have to number one, there's a lot of cables there that you have to deal with in this disassembly of the wing and reassembly of the wing. So I did away with that a long time ago. I did have some cables on my original models. If you watch my very early videos, you'll see that I also started with the cable system, as far as supporting the wing on both the ultralights and the microlights. But I got away from that, when I started manufacturing the kits, just from a manufacturing and assembly point of reference. So I don't use kink posts, and I use rigid struts in what is called a topless wing. Topless wing means it doesn't have the kink post, doesn't have the cables, and it's more suspended from underneath the wing, to the trike, via some very sturdy struts, the wing support struts. So I don't use cables, and that's the way I'm going to do this aircraft here as well. Once again, because of the size, the scale of this model, those support struts have to be also sized accordingly, so that the wing is well supported and it doesn't flex, or it doesn't have any deformation while under air pressure, meaning when it's in flight. And so I've taken all those things into account. It's not that these things are not new to me, but I just thought I'd point those things out, because that's you have to think about those things. And like I said in another video, I said, it doesn't matter if you use cables or struts, provided that the wing is well and safely supported to the aircraft. You can do that with cables. I don't like using cables for the reasons I just explained, and so I'm going to just go ahead and do this with struts, just the way my other kits have been manufactured. And you see in countless videos that I uploaded. The fifth, beginning with this with the very small ones. The 10th scale on up to the quarter scale. They're all supported. They have all been designed with tapless wings, no king post, no cables, just some nice struts, underneath the wing. And so this is the way that I intended this particular size to be. Now, one of my customers decided to include the cable system. I'm not putting that down. Like I said, it doesn't matter if you use cables or rigid struts. He decided to go with cables. I believe I believe he wanted to make the model also look like the original early days MX Quicksilver MX. And once again, the name that I employ when I mention this in my videos as well as in my titles and descriptions is a MIA Quicksilver Style because I've had to re-engineer every connection, every part, the way I assemble the wings, the way I manufacture the wings, the methods, all those things have had to be re-engineered from the bottom up to make it work as a radio control model. On the full size aircraft, for example, you have all these. If you look at the manual, for those that are familiar with the full size aircraft, if you have a copy of the manual, you'll see that in the manual it calls for all these assemblies that have the tubes that have been perforated through the tube to make all these connections. So anywhere that you see my connections using press fit connectors, those are also a trademark of MIA Microflight. The way I've been doing all these kits for the number of years that I've been producing these, those have become a trademark of MIA Microflight kits in particular. The press connectors, the clips that I use, those are have become trademarks. They're not my own design clips. They're commercial clips that I use. I did find a company that manufactured the best clips, and so they're even though they're very similar to other companies offer. The ones I selected to be part of my kits are not the same in terms of quality and in terms of thickness. So I just thought I'd throw that out because you may think that I'm just using whatever clips I can find. No, I do. I've done as I've done pretty much with all the stuff that I when I source parts, I try to look for the best and something that is not easily obtainable, so that I can maintain some level of control. I'll be perfectly honest. From a manufacturing standpoint, you want to have that control, or you want to manufacture the things yourself. You can see that some of the yellow parts right here are also my own parts. My own thumb nuts that I've employed on these things, and I've gotten away. I've gotten a little closer to manufacturing pretty much the whole thing myself. Without relying on manufacturers, because sometimes manufacturers or suppliers, they change their manufacturing structures, and then you can't find the same thing, and then you're stuck. Now what do you do? So it's better from a manufacturing standpoint to manufacture all the things yourself and have that level of control, and that's where I'm at right now with all these things. It's taking that many years, for me to be at this level where I control everything. The wheels, now I manufacture my own wheels. I don't resort to buying wheels even for the smaller ones, because I think my wheels are a lot better looking aesthetically, mechanically. And I control that, and it sets a particular style that's associated with the MIA Microflight, the trademark look, the trademark product. And so once again, the name MIA Quicksilver Style is in the style, meaning that it's inspired by the full scale aircraft, as is all RC models are regardless who manufactures. Every single model is inspired by at some point by the large full-scale aircraft. And so this is in the style of the Quicksilver, but it's got my own approach, my own selection of components. You're not going to find certain components like I'm using here, in the full scale one, because everything's done with tubing there. Uh, there are pros and there are cons, in using specific materials in specific areas. I use certain materials in specific areas uh, because certain areas require a little more durability than other areas. But for example, a wing that sticks out, really far out, the edges are probably more prone to getting scraped or dented or bent or cracked. In the case of a mishap, you happen to land on the side of the wing. The landing gear has to be well designed, well reinforced, to be able to take some of the abuse. Although with this particular model, this model is almost like a floater. So once you get it up in the air, as long as you come down with a little power, it's going to glide and it's going to come down floating almost. So it's very lightweight on the landing gear. So the landing gear could be done lighter than what I show here, but I really like my landing gear that way. I've done the same thing on the smaller models. When I say the smaller models, you can see this is also a Quicksilver Style RC Ultralight, and this is a 36-inch wingspan. This right here is a 14 foot wingspan. That model, by the way, is getting this nice little motor here that I found. This motor. This is a motor I bought for a quad. It's a kind of a test. I bought one a long time from Hobby King. I think it was selling these. These are from Race Start, I believe. I don't even know if this company is still around because I bought this more than 10 years ago, I think. But this is going to go instead of this one right here, so it powers this with a little more power because that one was just not cutting it. This was on a very low end of the power spectrum. So this propulsion system or the motor is going to be a lot better. I just thought I'd throw that in because this kind of I've had it there. It's one of the things that I need to do. It's not a pressing thing. I'm concentrating on this one here. So getting back, to what I was saying, the landing gear, you can see how I employ these fat tires on my aircraft here. And I did the same thing there, even though I had to go. I had to go in layers. There are three rings, foam rings. Those are hard foam rings, and I show that in some other videos. That's not a secret, how you manufacture these things, because I have shown that, on purpose, to my audience, so that you understand how I manufacture these things. And so you can see that I'm not, when I tell you that that's sturdy and that's going to work a certain way, I'm not, you can be reassured that the way I show you, the way I'm explaining these things, and the way you're you're seeing this is true to what the description and what I the way I describe these things. So anyway, landing gear very strong right there. That's my steering column. It's done that way. It's not a flat plate. It's the full scale is more of a flat plate, but that's a steel plate. They weld these the post to support for the steering column on the full size aircraft. And so for a 3D printed part, I could have done that, but I did it that way, with that bracket there, with that support. The way you see that geometry there is specific to that particular one, and that's that's part of also the engineering process that needs to take place when you make things out of 3D printed parts. And I did that for just to make that section, that whole section, a little more rigid, because I was doing these parts without that bracket, that angle bracket that you see there. I was doing that. The original ones didn't have that. It was a lot. It just didn't have that geometry. I was going to say a lot cleaner, but that's also clean, but it's just too reinforced. And I decided to do this one, this on this one, because of the particular size, just to reinforce that area there. So yeah, this is this is what I'm doing. This is where I'm at with these things. And like I said, um, I, I just sent a few orders that I had. They were kind of, just waiting to be sent. I sent those out to the customers, and customers should be getting those orders. If you have been waiting, if you're watching this video, you're one of my customers that ordered recently from me. Those orders are probably going to be, they're probably at your doorstep right now, or if not, you'll probably get that by Friday or this weekend. So just FYI, I thought I also inform my customers that maybe beyond this, um, those are out. So I have a little more free time, and this is the reason why I've been working on this. I have not been doing this consistently every single day because I work on different projects, and I truly in reality, I get not distracted, but when an idea pops into my head, I have to work on that idea. Even if I'm working on something like this, if something pops into my head and I need to make a 3D printed part of that, I'll go to my computer, design the part, 3D print it, and get that done. I don't let my ideas linger in my brain. Is what I'm trying to say. If something pops up, I do it right away, and that's the way I've been working. I've been operating my whole life. I'm just one of those people that does not let an idea pass by. Um, if you have been watching my shorts, you will see that I also have a coaxial helicopter for 2025. It's nothing new. I've done coaxial helicopters and I show them flying. Also, I have some great videos on my YouTube channel that I show. It's the only coaxial helicopters of that type in the world. And I say that with a lot of optimism and reassurance that there are no other videos of that type, because I have not come across. I didn't come across back in those years when I did 10, 15 years ago, when I did those models and I show those videos. And to this day, I have not come across anything similar, in RC form. Uh, so, and it's because, once again, when an idea pops into my head, I work on that right away. I don't let any ideas slip by, especially when I can't sleep over those ideas. If I get an idea and it's bothering me, 3 in the morning, I'll get up and do it. Sometimes, I'm about to go to bed, like last night. I was going to go to bed. I had taken care of all my orders, shipped early in the day. I came home and I go, wow, it's a load off my shoulders, because it's not that I don't appreciate the orders. I don't want to get that message, mixed up. It's not that. I mean, I really appreciate orders, and it's nice to have a little extra money to play with. This is not making me rich. The business of in the it's a niche market. It doesn't make you rich. I do a lot of these things for the hobby, and sometimes I don't even make as much as I think I should be making for all the stuff that I've done. For all the stuff that I've shown. But it's not that's not my my target was never to become a rich man. If I wanted to be a rich man, the smart thing to do would be to embark on some other a business. There are so many other businesses that you can embark on. Real estate is one of them. If you want to make good money, you know, um, start flipping houses. That's your thing. That's not my thing. I mean, there are people that do that. That's boring to me. Why would I want to do that when I really, I have really enjoyed every single day of my life ever since switching switching my careers, into making my own thing. Things that I love to do. I love to do these things. I love to be able to have the freedom to implement my own ideas, work on my own ideas without having somebody look over my shoulder. Um, so there's a lot of satisfaction, if you can pull that off. And I'm just one of those people that has been able to pull that off. You will not find, I guarantee you, you can search high and low. You're not going to find, many people, with, I mean, if you look at MIA Microflight, that the trajectory of my little niche business, since I started that, you're probably not going to find another person, with the same, uh, that has done the same thing, and it's very difficult. It's not that people have tried, that people have been looking at my stuff, trying to do the same thing, and it's not easy, and they have not done that because it's not easy. You may think that all these things are hunky dory, that anybody can wake up one day and start something like this, and it's not, because in order to survive in doing something like this, your mind has to be really, really focused and persistent, and you have to truly, truly do it for the love of the hobby. And like I said, if your mind says that you're going to get rich out of doing this, then your love of the hobby is not really there. Your love is for money. So this is where I'm at. I just, I like to rant a little bit here and there, and just give you a little insight into, some of these things. Hopefully, it's appreciated by my audience. Mario, once again, stay tuned for more.